So, Nick, this is my friend.
Hi.
Curtis.
Hey, Curtis, I'm Nick.
Curtis helped me build computers, and since you won't shut up. Look, it's a black box, Nick's black box.
I now have a computer, which is a weird feeling. I'm worried that I think it's probably going to change me, right? Like I'm going to be a PC gamer now.
What have you named her?
So I let our producer name it. He named it Freeballing.
Freeballing.
Yeah. So, but I mean, whatever. It's better than anything.
So you
I came up
know,
with.
if you log into DAYZ, your name's going to be Freeballing. Right?
Really? I didn't know that it was based on your PC name.
Yes, it is.
Huh? What's the? Is that to try to force people to use real names? Like, what's the?
Well, it's sort of like this entire enforcement scheme where, like, hey, we know we know what your PC is or where you are.
Huh.
If you do something dumb, we will get you.
That's awesome. So this thing, we basically did a whole episode of the show DIY Try-In of the process of constructing this thing.
Oh, I'm familiar with that.
Yeah, and
we'll get to that.
Yeah, so basically the idea was to make my budget was like $800.
Okay, so you didn't have a PC to game on before.
Right. I have been just using stupid old consoles this whole time, and now basically the idea was like.
Welcome to the master race.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
guess.
can now be one of the assholes in the comment section. Everything sucks.
That's what happens, right? I'm gonna become like elitist about mice and keyboards and all that stuff.
Say goodbye to your wallet. Steam sales.
So the motivation for buying this was basically I had an $800 budget, and the idea was I have a library on Steam of 200 games and a MacBook Air that can play about 20 of those games. And I wanted to have an ability to access that library because Steam sales are appealing even when you can't play the games in them.
$1, $2.
Right.
Explain this. It's fun to buy things that you can't use.
I hoped someday that I would have a PC.
It's like buying a sports car. You buy this car that can go 300 miles an hour.
But you live in the city.
Yep.
And you're not doing it.
Yeah, there's a speed limit.
Okay, that's fair.
So basically the idea was like $800, build a PC as good as I can on that budget that is also capable of streaming via like Twitch and stuff like that. And this is what we came up with. It's got a 770 for the GPU, like 8 gigs of RAM. I know when I was telling you about the specs, it's just like
8 gigs of RAM.
I know. It's 2014.
No, I'll let you finish.
Like an i5. I know. It's hard not to roll your eyes, but.
I almost want to do a Kanye thing, but I'm not.
Yeah. So yeah, wait, no, like I want to hear. Tell me
I'm
about.
gonna let you finish, but.
Yeah, let's hear about your rig, because I'm sure it's.
So I'm running in a Blackbird 002 chassis, this extruded aluminum chassis that basically the panels were made by the same guys who make up-armored Humvees.
Okay.
Like, it's a monster. I'm running an Intel 4770K, 32 gigs of Corsair DDR5 Dominator RAM.
32 gigs.
Dual NVIDIA GeForce Titans. Right now I'm running a 1 terabyte SSD, as well as.
I have a 1 terabyte old-timey hard drive. So
is it Steam
It's a
powered?
guy cranking it right there.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then backed up by 2 640 Velociraptors, and then 3 2 terabyte Western Digital Black Caviar drives. So yeah, I use it to look at spreadsheets.
Yeah.
So as you can see, I just brought Curtis by to ruin your day.
Yeah, I felt so good about this PC until about 2 minutes ago, and now I want to throw it in the trash. It's weird though, because I can spend $800, which by console prices is a lot, and have a PC that, while it can run pretty much everything on Ultra now, is in no way future-proof.
And that's the thing is, I built my rig with Curtis, and I was really proud of it until like 30 seconds ago.
Yeah.
And it's weird. I found every time I get something new and I upgrade my PC, it's kind of like people who get tattoos and piercings. It's like, oh, that was good. Maybe I should get another. And the minute I see that there's like a new graphics card, I'm calling him up going, should I get this one? It's like it's this almost near panic of obsolescence.
PC gamers are like adrenaline junkies.
Okay.
You have to go faster. You have to have that machine that's just quarter second faster than the next guy. And so it's sort of like, my machine is never really done. I think I upgrade probably every 6 months.
See, my last computer before this was a Dell tower with a Radeon 9800 Pro in it and 512 megabytes of RAM. I got it in when I was 13, and it was the best day of my life. So this is a significant upgrade. I upgrade about every 10 years.
So my first PC was Hewlett Packard.
Yep.
My cousin worked there. I don't even know if it had a name or a number attached to it, but it was like one of those ones where the screen was kind of attached to the entire rig, and it was all floppy based, and it played solitaire.
Sweet.
And it was really sad and confusing. 'Cause it was all, I think it was DOS.
You know
back
what would
then.
make solitaire better is 32 gigs of RAM, I feel like. Think of that, the part of the end where the cards are flying everywhere, with like full physics and everything.
Let me and this is gonna show how old I am. So I remember when we got a Commodore 64.
With the tape deck?
No, we didn't have a tape deck, but I do remember picking up Dungeons and Dragons, and then my dad taking me out later to go out and get, this is gonna drive me nuts, the G.I. Joe game, this horrible G.I. Joe game that I wish was so much better, but I still played. But like, I went from a Commodore to like an Acer Aspire, and then from there, I got like an HP Vectra. And then that's when I caught the bug, because my dad's like, here's this extra computer I got from work. Here's a bunch of software, figure out how it all works. And I remember running to the library and picking up one of those, build your first computer for dummies book. And like just harassing the living tar out of my dad, having him take me out to Circuit City and Best Buy.
Yeah. See, the thing
Wait, hold on, I have to stop on one thing. So your dad brings computers home from work. Like the best I got is my dad would bring computer paper home from work. Because like, I know you want a color. I know there's a lot of holes on this, but maybe you can turn it into a design. Like that's the best I got out of my dad's job.
I want to hear the story of you helping Adam build his computer, actually.
So this is where it starts. My most recent, I guess, purchase of a computer was a Blackbird, probably back in 2008.
Yep,
maybe?
we've got the same case.
Yeah, we got the same case. So it was 2008. It was a Blackbird. It was great. And then it just started to get funky and it wasn't completely working. And then through a friend of a friend, I got in touch with Curtis, who was at HP at the time. And he started to help and try to figure out what was wrong with it, which eventually led to him and another friend, I barely knew them at the time, driving down from San Francisco to LA to try to fix my computer. And
It was
then
like
driving back.
It was like a Sunday, 2 o'clock, and we're like, you know what? Screw it. Let's drive down.
And they did. And we thought we figured out what was wrong with it. It was just the one part that they didn't have.
Yep.
Which was the CPU.
Yep.
Those are important, right?
It was just sort of like we brought everything else to build a brand new machine there, and it was just like it's like 8:30 on a Sunday night. Nothing is open.
Yeah, like
It's
the
just
Intel store just isn't like there, the kiosk.
You forgot to put a computer in that computer, basically.
So what this led to was comical. So they shipped down another CPU, and then I had to install it. I'm neurotic. And like they're saying, okay, you got to get this creamy stuff. You got to put it on the back, but don't touch it. And you got to put it in. Don't touch it. And I'm like, well, I better get gloves.
Forgot to tell you, it's really toxic.
Well, it's also it's like you can't touch it. So I'm all like panicked. I'm like, I don't know. At any moment I could screw this up completely. It's all on me. They're on Skype. They're guiding me through it. It's
like
kind
on video?
Yeah, and it's more like encouragement.
There's myself, a close friend of ours at EA, and then literally one of the engineers who helped work on this machine.
Yeah.
We're all like Skyped in, like.
And it's just like, you can do it, Adam. And I'm panicking. I'm like, hon, get in here with your small Asian hands. It's like, maybe you should do it. She's wearing the gloves, and as she's doing it, I'm like, hold on, maybe not now.
It's like
maybe
defusing
not
a bomb.
now. Yep. And it was definitely, it was like the end of Speed or something like that.
God.
And we did it, and it didn't work. And then we realized it was the graphics card.
Yep. So it was literally like one of those like moon landing like scenarios where it's sort of like, you're on the edge of your seat.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do. It's just like,
yeah.
And then it's like if you were landing on the moon and somehow the
Challenger.
ship landed upside down. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the crazy thing about PC gaming to me is that like I've been hearing talk for years like, oh my God, it's not the way you remember it. PC gaming or building a PC is getting so much better and so much easier, and I believe that, right? Like seating things is easier now than it ever was, all that. But in building this PC down here, I was struck by how still totally a pain in the ass it is.
Yeah,
for a normal person, for a layman, I think it's practically, and I know I'm going to get a lot of crap for this, but like I don't think the average person can do it without a lot of help.
I think where things have improved is, back when I started doing this in 1998, the better games were definitely on the PC. And it was kind of the role of drivers and having to update stuff.
Yeah.
Like it put so much burden on the user to even figure out what they needed to do.
Right.
That seems to have, that's slowly getting fixed.
Yeah.
Here's a big issue. When you look at PC gaming and even the PC market holistically, back in the day, before everyone was connected, you had to ship a finished product.
Right.
And now it's gotten into the habit of everyone like, oh, we'll fix it in patches. We'll fix it with drivers and stuff.
Right.
And that's just not beneficial to the end user. And so it's sort of like when you look at PC gaming enthusiasts, you spend a lot of time doing a bunch of research. If there's a hiccup across the way, we're understanding. We'll figure it out, or we'll just make something else.
And that's the thing is that I think as a console gamer, I've been kind of babied for a while, and my patience for things not working is zero because I'm used to putting the disc in and the game works and it works the same on everyone's.
Instant gratification.
Yeah, there's something appealing about that. Whereas with this, we had to we were dropping parts in the case because we're idiots. We were trying to get the cabling exactly right, and it's just
that part's fun. That's kind of
way.
It's kind of like playing Baldur's Gate. It's like you're just fiddling with it and getting the right armor.
Okay, look at
the
it
right
this
sword.
way. We're not mechanically inclined. We're not car guys. But we have a respect for car guys who can sit there, disassemble an engine, and put it all back together and make it go twice as fast.
Yeah.
Computers are our cars.
Right.
And it's to the point that, even today, it's I gotta get that. I'm gonna sit there and tweak my machine until I've got something completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But for the average person, they can go out and buy a car. Sure, they can get a car that'll get them from point A to point B. But gaming's all about building that supercar that you can actually drive.
It's the car that my goal, and I haven't reached it yet, even with my 24 gigs of RAM and my 680, and what's the processor I have?
You're running an Intel 3770K. I literally upgraded because I found that you and another friend, I remember you and another friend at Google had the same CPU as me. So it's a matter of, gotta be
Just a little
that much
better
better,
than
so I can beat him. And still, I can't get Witcher 2 I can't have it run on Uber sampling and go above about 25 frames. A second, and it's my goal is to finally get the rig that beats Witcher 2, and that's the best part about upgrading is you go back to those old games that were causing you trouble, and you just turn everything up. I got you.
I'm doing that to Painkiller right now, but I think by the time you do that with Witcher 2, Witcher 3 will be out, which is gorgeous,
and it will probably kick my
run it
machine's
medium.
ass.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm almost confident I'll run Cyberpunk 2077 on the Ultra on day one.
God.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous for one of their games. They're kind of doing what CRYSIS did, I think. They're kind of taking over Crytek in terms of making the prettiest games out there right now in a way.
And they're still fun to play.
So one of the claim to fame on Adam's machine is that when CRYSIS came out, it was one of the few machines that would run CRYSIS on the Ultra.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
and
pretty
it
incredible.
does. And now it's big whoop. It's the Witcher, it's Uber sampling.
Will it play Minecraft on Ultra?
I should try that.